Hey everybody, I'm Cahlen Lee, and today I'm going to be doing a segment on natural law where I'm going to be talking about how basically you are responsible for your creations. So natural law is, I did a video about it. You can search What is Natural Law by Cahlen, and you'll find that on my website or on most video hosting sites. And I go into more detail, but basically natural law is the only law which is actually in place everywhere in the universe, and it is essentially do no harm. So if you don't do any harm to anybody, and if you do harm, then you must fix the harm that you have caused. Otherwise you face the consequences. So that's very simple law, but there are things which we can derive from it just kind of using our common sense, and the fact that we are responsible for our creations is something which we can derive just by considering it. So if I go and punch somebody in the face, obviously I'm responsible for that harm that I've caused. But if I create a robot which I unleash upon the world and I ignore it and I never have anything to do with it again, and all it does is go around punching people in the face, well, it's not the robot that's responsible for the harm that was caused. I am responsible for that. So there's all types of things which we can create which could potentially cause harm to other people. And these aren't just material things. We could create fictional things in our mind which are imaginary, like corporations or organizations. And if I start an organization and that organization ends up having lots of people involved with it and they end up doing things that maybe I'm not aware of, I'm still ultimately responsible because I am the creator of that organization. So it's my responsibility to make sure that the entire organization is running properly. And this is in a world, so we have corporations right now, and that's basically a fictional entity. And the only way that you can get kind of restitution from a corporation is sort of through another corporation, which we all have, or almost all of us have. Governments have created corporations which are exactly our name in all capital letters. And that corporation can sue the corporation which might have harmed us as actual living people. But if we're choosing to operate outside of that system and we want to only operate in natural law, then we have to understand that we can only seek restitution from other living people who can understand natural law. So if a corporation or an organization harms me, then I need to find out who is the creator of this corporation and seek restitution against them. So there are some nuances here, and I'll just talk about a couple of them, but there are many things which you can ponder here and come to the correct common sense conclusion about what would need to be, how it should be handled. But let's take the situation where, let's say I create a knife, and this knife can be used for many different things. So when I sell it to someone and I give them the ownership of the knife, now they're responsible for it, and they use it to physically harm someone. Now that knife could have been used for cutting onions or many other things which don't harm anyone. But so I'm not responsible for what that person does with the tool which I made at that point. I have passed responsibility on to them. Now they are the person who has used that tool to cause harm, and they are the person who must provide restitution. Another situation is, what if you are the creator of another being who could potentially become aware of natural law and therefore become responsible for following it? And just a case of this would be a mother and a father creating a child. Now they are responsible for that child and for what that child does until that child comes of an age where it says, I recognize that I am responsible for myself and no one else is responsible for me, and now the parents are no longer responsible for the behavior of that child. So that's my rundown on the aspect of natural law, which is that we are all responsible for our creations. The things that we create, if they cause harm, then we as living people are responsible for solving that harm for the person that we have caused harm to. If you'd like to learn more about natural law, you can check out my video, What is Natural Law? As I said a little bit earlier, it goes into much more detail, and it's a good foundation for understanding this episode and also for understanding future episodes within my natural law series. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. If this video was valuable to you, I hope you will share it with someone else who is likely to also find value in it. Doing so will help me quite a bit. It'll also help them, and it'll help you to feel really good about yourself. If you'd like to learn more about me, you can head on over to my website, cahlen.org. There you can see all of my content, my podcast. You can inquire about private coaching. And also, if you just want to help out the effort, help out my mission, and help me feed my family, you can check out the gift section and just find ways that you can do that. So, thanks again for watching.